My boyfriend doesn't want intimacy anymore because I said one stupid thing and now he treats me like a stranger. Okay, so I need to get this off my chest before I implode. I don't even know where to start because my brain is a complete mess, but here goes. I, Zara, 23, feminist, loudmouth, occasional overthinker, just completely ruined things with Mason, my boyfriend of almost a year, and I don't even know if they can ever be fixed. Like, maybe this is my fault. Probably my fault. Definitely my fault. But let me start from the beginning. It was a Friday night, and my feminist friend group, yeah, the kind of people who can argue for hours about toxic masculinity and wage gaps like it's the world's most important mission, decided to meet at Emma's apartment. I wasn't even supposed to bring Mason. He's quiet, he hates confrontation, and honestly, sometimes I think he would rather disappear into the couch cushions than deal with my friends, but I invited him because, well, I thought it would be fine. He usually handles it, or so I thought. The night started normal enough. Drinks, pizza, the usual chaos, but somewhere around 11 p.m., the conversation took a sharp turn. Someone, can't even remember who, made a comment about modern relationships and emotional labor. Naturally, I went full throttle, because arguing is basically my cardio at this point. If a man thinks he's entitled to sex just because he's in a relationship, then he's part of the problem, I said, waving my hands like a maniac. Emma nodded vigorously. Exactly. Emotional labor is unpaid and invisible, and men need to be held accountable for their contributions beyond the bedroom. Now, here's the thing. Mason had been unusually quiet all night, just sipping his soda and looking like he was trying to vanish into the wall. I thought maybe he was just tired. But then as the conversation turned even more heated, I snapped at him. Because of course I did. Seriously, Mason, don't you get it? I said, pointing at him. You're just here for intimacy, aren't you? You wouldn't care about any of this feminist stuff if it didn't benefit you in bed. Silence. You guys. Literal silence. My friends froze like someone had shouted fire in the middle of a library. Mason didn't even blink. He just stared. That was the first time I realized I may have said something irreparably stupid. At first I laughed nervously. I'm kidding, babe. Chill. But he didn't respond. He just got up quietly and walked toward the kitchen. No, I'm mad speech. No eye roll, no sarcastic comment, nothing. We left the apartment shortly after. The ride home was unbearable. Normally, Mason would hold my hand, make a dumb joke to break the tension, or just brush his thumb over mine in that little way that made me feel like everything was okay. This time, nothing. He was staring out the window, jaw tight, silent. The car felt like a coffin. When we got home, I tried again. Mason, come on, talk to me. Don't do the silent treatment thing, please. Still nothing. He walked past me straight to his room, closed the door, and that was it. That was the first night I noticed something different, something dangerous. The next morning, I tried to fix it. Breakfast, coffee, little jokes, flirty touches. I even tried that thing where you casually brush hair out of their face like it's supposed to magically fix things. Mason didn't even look up. He made a polite, good morning, but that was it. Nothing else. No kiss, no smile, no warmth. Just polite roommate energy. And here's the worst part. Every single attempt I made after that was met with the same wall. I tried asking him if he wanted to talk about last night. He shook his head. I tried joking. So, am I persona non grata now? He didn't even react. I tried cuddling up to him while watching TV. Nothing. I mean, this is Mason. The guy who used to wrap his arm around me during bad dreams and hold my hand during traffic jams. Gone. Vanished. Replaced by a quiet, distant presence that I couldn't reach, no matter how hard I tried. I remember sitting on the couch one evening, staring at him as he typed on his laptop, completely ignoring me, and feeling my chest tighten like someone had glued cement over it. What did I do? I whispered, more to myself than anyone else. I had always prided myself on being independent, confident, fiery, but this was new, crushing. The worst moments were the little reminders of what we used to have. His old flirty texts in the morning, the way he'd make silly faces just to make me laugh, the small touches that weren't about sex. They were about connection. And now, I got a text from him the next morning that just said, I'm leaving for class. That's it. No, love you, no, see you tonight, no emoji, nothing. I started noticing the roommate treatment in everything. He doesn't flirt, doesn't joke, doesn't touch, doesn't even sit near me on the couch. He eats dinner alone, reads in silence, goes out with friends without telling me, and doesn't invite me along. And every attempt I made to break through was like trying to talk to a brick wall with a megaphone. It got worse when my friends started noticing. Zara, what's going on with you two? Emma asked, narrowing her eyes as if she could see right through me. I laughed it off, because how do you explain this without sounding like a total disaster? Nothing. We're fine. Just stuff. But inside, I was screaming. Every nerve in my body ached for the Mason I used to know. The Mason who kissed me in the rain. The Mason who whispered dumb nicknames in my ear. The Mason who made me feel wanted and safe. The argument had done more damage than I could ever imagine, and I knew it. Every time he ignored me, every time he shut me out, I felt the full weight of my words. You're only with me because of intimacy. They weren't just words. They were a knife, and somehow I had thrown it straight into his trust. And now, here I am, writing this at 3 a.m., sitting on the edge of the bed, staring at his side of the room, trying to remember the first moment I fell in love with him, trying to remember how it felt when he used to laugh at my terrible jokes, when he used to make me feel like the world wasn't such a lonely place. Trying to remember Mason before I said that thing I can never take back. I don't know what comes next. I don't know if he'll ever forgive me or if he's already moved on emotionally. I don't know if I'll ever get the warmth, the intimacy, the laughter back. But I do know one thing. This is my fault. Every single word. My mouth, my ego, my need to prove something in front of my friends destroyed what I had. And the worst part, he's still here. In the same house, under the same roof, breathing the same air. But he might as well be on another planet. Because every touch, every glance, every moment of closeness that used to define us is gone. I have a roommate, not a boyfriend. And I have no idea how to get him back. So here I am, Reddit. I guess this is my confession, my plea, my something. Because if I don't write it down, if I don't say it somewhere, I might just lose my mind completely. I ruined it. I feel it. I see it in every glance he avoids, every laugh he doesn't share, every ounce of warmth that used to exist. And I don't know if it's too late or if I'm just too late. I swear, I didn't think it could get worse than that first night he gave me the silent treatment. I mean, I knew Mason could be stubborn, but the level of detachment he achieved over the next few weeks was unimaginable. I used to think our relationship had a natural rhythm. His touches, our inside jokes, the way he'd tease me relentlessly. But now, it was like living with a stranger who happened to share my apartment. It started small at first. He'd make breakfast alone, no invitation. He'd leave the dishes in the sink, which he never used to do because we always joked that if we lived together as roommates, I'd end up doing all the dishes anyway. He wouldn't sit next to me on the couch. He'd just perch at the edge, laptop open, earbuds in. Sometimes I'd catch him staring out the window, and for a second I'd hope it was a trick, some kind of Mason-style prank, but nope, just empty silence. I tried everything. I started small, like nudging his arm when he walked by, saying, "Hey, roomie," with that little wink I used to get him to smile. Nothing. Zero reaction. Not even a smirk. My chest would tighten every time, like someone had taken a vice and squeezed all the air out of my lungs. Then I escalated. I'd make flirty comments while he cooked dinner. "Wow, you're really channeling your inner chef today, but I bet I could make better pancakes than you." He just shrugged and said, "Cool. I mean, what even is that?" I tried sitting closer, brushing his hair back from his forehead when he studied at the table, leaning in when he laughed at a show. Still nothing. He wasn't angry. He wasn't annoyed. He was polite, almost kind in a distant way, like I was a guest in his apartment rather than his girlfriend. And that's when it really hit me. Mason wasn't punishing me with anger. He was punishing me with indifference. The most terrifying kind of punishment. I remember one particular night vividly. I had spent hours cooking his favorite pasta, garlic bread, even homemade tiramisu because I thought maybe food would melt his walls. He walked in, glanced at the spread, and said thanks before going back to his room. I stood there in the kitchen, fork in hand, and I literally felt my heart cracking. I thought, this isn't real. He's going to come around. He has to. But he didn't. I started to spiral after that. I'd text him from my room, "Do you want to watch a movie?" and get a single word reply. "K." I'd drop hints about cuddling, brushing past him like we used to, trying to catch his hand, and he'd pull away gently, almost automatically, as if it were second nature by now. It wasn't anger or resentment in his eyes. It was something I couldn't fix. Something permanent. My friends started noticing. Emma texted me one afternoon. "Zara, you've gone completely pale. Are you okay? What's happening with Mason?" I laughed it off, pretending everything was fine. I couldn't explain it without sounding pathetic. How do you explain that your boyfriend has turned into a roommate who refuses intimacy, flirting, or even a glance, all because you said the wrong thing once? But they didn't let it go. We were at a brunch a few days later, and I could barely pick at my avocado toast. "Zara, spill," said Sophie, her fork poised midair. "What's wrong? You look miserable." I sighed, ran my hands through my hair. "It's Mason," I muttered. He's like a roommate now. Won't talk, won't touch, won't anything." They tried to give me advice. "Just give him space," Emma said. "Sometimes men need time to process." "Text him less," Sophie suggested. "Make him miss you. Plan a cute date," another friend added. I nodded along politely, but none of it mattered. They didn't understand. Mason wasn't processing, he was withdrawing. He wasn't being petty or playing games, he was protecting himself. Shutting off a part of himself I had shattered. The guilt started consuming me. I replayed that argument over and over. That moment when I had blurted out, "You're only with me because of intimacy." It had been meant in the heat of the moment, I swear, but it landed like a bomb. Every flirty joke I made after, every attempt to reach him physically only reminded him of that betrayal. And now he treated me like a stranger, because in his eyes, I had become one. I tried to apologize directly once. I knocked on his door after work one evening, took a deep breath and said, "Mason, I'm sorry. I didn't mean what I said. I was stupid and I know it hurt you. Can we talk?" He looked at me for a long time, his brown eyes unreadable, and said, "I don't want to talk about it right now." And that was it. That one sentence was heavier than any fight we'd ever had. I felt it seep into my bones. "Not now" became Not ever. I spent the next few days in a haze, walking around our apartment like a ghost, avoiding his gaze, trying to find a way back to the Mason I loved. I even left little notes on his laptop. I love you, I miss you, please forgive me. He didn't read them, or if he did, he ignored them. My heart sank further each day. I started questioning myself in ways I hadn't before. Was I selfish? Impulsive? Did I only care about his affection when I wanted it, not about his feelings? I realized I had underestimated the depth of his boundaries, the depth of his trust in me, and once broken, maybe some things couldn't be fixed with flirty texts or grand gestures. One night, after another day of cold politeness, I sat on my bed and cried. I buried my face in my pillow, feeling like I had lost not just a boyfriend, but my best friend, my safe place, my home. I tried to recall how it felt when he used to laugh at my dumb jokes, when he used to sneak his hand into mine during long walks, when he used to whisper, "I got you," in my ear. And now, all that warmth was gone. Even our mutual friends noticed. Emma came over one evening. "Zara, please tell me you're okay," she said gently, sitting next to me on the couch. "You've been distant, lonely. This isn't you." "I don't know what to do," I whispered. "Every time I try to fix it, it's like hitting a wall. He's gone, Emma. He's here, but he's not, and it's my fault. All my fault." She gave me a sad look. "Sometimes people just pull back. But if it's really about trust, Zara, it's not something you can fix with texts or hugs. You broke something, and now you have to wait and see if he can forgive it. And maybe he can't." I wanted to scream, to run after him, to shake him and make him understand that I was sorry, that I loved him, that I had made a terrible mistake. But he wouldn't hear me. He wouldn't let me in. And that's when it really hit me. I missed him. Not just the intimacy, which, to be honest, I had always taken for granted, but the connection, the little things that made us us. I wanted him back. I wanted all of him back. But Mason was distant, firm, and for the first time, unmovable. I cried that night alone, curled up in my blanket like a child, feeling completely powerless. Every time I tried to picture a future with him, I only saw the cold, polite roommate who had replaced the man I loved, and it scared me because I realized I didn't just lose the closeness, I had lost the man emotionally, and I wasn't sure if I could ever get him back. Reddit. If you're still reading, that's where I'm at. I'm stuck in this roommate phase with the person I thought I'd spend my life with. I can't reach him, I can't touch him, and every day it hurts a little more. I don't know if he'll ever forgive me or if the Mason I loved even exists anymore. All I know is that I'm alone with my mistakes, crying for the warmth and intimacy I took for granted. And I'm desperate. I thought for weeks that maybe Mason would eventually come around, that maybe the silence, the cold politeness, the roommate level detachment would crack under the weight of my love, my apologies, my okay fine, desperate attempts to fix what I had broken. I thought I could undo it all. Spoiler, I couldn't. It started small. Little gestures, innocent ones, a latte on his desk in the morning, because I remembered he liked caramel drizzle even though he pretended he didn't care. A note slipped under his door. "I love you. I'm sorry. Please come back to me." I even bought him a book by his favorite author, the one he always raved about, but never had the time to get. I thought, maybe if I showed him I remembered the little things that I cared enough to notice, he'd thaw. He didn't. I watched him read the note with polite detachment, folded it carefully, and put it on the counter. No smile. No glance. No hint that he even acknowledged it beyond the mechanical act of moving a piece of paper. My chest sank further every time. Then came the apologies, long, tearful, messy ones, where I poured out my heart, my regret, my stupid impulsive words that had shattered the trust we built. "Mason, I was so stupid. I didn't realize how much that would hurt you. Please, can we talk? Please, just let me make it right." He'd listen. Yes, but he didn't say what I hoped. Not a word of forgiveness, not a joke to lighten the weight. Just silence, polite nods, his brown eyes guarded, almost painfully so. It was like he was testing me, waiting to see if I really understood the damage I'd done, if I really grasped the depth of betrayal, and every time I flinched under the weight of his restraint. I tried being vulnerable too. I sat him down one night, heart pounding, hands shaking. "Mason, I miss us. I miss you. I know I messed up, but I need you to know that I see it now. I see how my words hurt you. I see that intimacy isn't just about, the physical stuff. It's about trust, emotional safety, connection. I broke that, and I'm sorry." He didn't answer. Not immediately. He stared at me for what felt like an eternity, then finally said, "Zara, I hear you. I see that you're trying, but it's not enough, not yet." I wanted to argue, to push, to say, "I'll do anything, I'll prove it. I'll never be stupid again." But he held up a hand. "It's not about proving anything right now. It's about understanding. Understanding that trust, once broken, takes more than gestures to repair." I felt like the air had been sucked out of me. More than the roommate level distance, more than the cold nights and ignored messages. This was a realization that maybe I underestimated him. Underestimated how deeply he valued trust, how fiercely he guarded his heart, how impossible it was to rush forgiveness. I tried everything else too. Cute texts, little jokes, playful nudges, things that used to make him grin like a fool. He didn't react the way I expected. Sometimes he would smile faintly, almost imperceptibly, and my heart would soar. thinking maybe this was it. Maybe he was softening. Then the next moment, he'd pull back, retreat into his space, and I'd crash down harder than before. My friends tried to help, as always. Give him time, Emma said. Show him you care, Sophie suggested. Maybe write a letter. From the heart. I did all of it. I wrote letters, left little surprises, tried to create moments that reminded him of us. But nothing breached that wall. It was like trying to push through a locked door with my bare hands. Every effort chipped away at my hope instead of rebuilding it. I had to confront a truth I didn't want to face. Mason's withdrawal wasn't punishment. It wasn't anger or spite. It was boundaries. And I had underestimated them. I had thought love and apologies could fix anything. That a little charm, a little effort, a little tearful pleading would undo months of damage. But it wasn't enough. He was firm. He was deliberate. And most terrifyingly, he was right. I had acted impulsively, carelessly, and I needed to face the consequences. There was one night that still burns into my memory. I cornered him in the living room after he came home late from work. Mason, please, just talk to me. Tell me what to do. I can't lose you. I can't. He raised his hand, stopping me mid-sentence. Zara, listen. I've been listening. I've been trying to understand if you get it, if you see why this is serious, and I do. I hear the words, but words aren't enough. Not anymore. Not now. Not after trust has been broken the way you did. I felt tears sting my eyes. Then tell me what I can do. I'll do anything. I'll wait. He shook his head slowly, pain in his eyes, but firm. You don't understand. It's not about waiting. It's not about trying harder. It's about realizing what you lost and that you need to respect the boundaries I've set. You broke my trust, Zara, and trust isn't given back because someone is desperate. I wanted to scream, to throw myself at him, to beg him to soften, to let me prove that I could be different. But his voice, calm and unwavering, stopped me. He wasn't rejecting me out of anger. He was showing me the truth, and it hurt more than I could articulate. That night, curled up on my bed, I realized something profound and terrifying. I didn't just want him back because I loved him physically. I didn't want him back because I was lonely or afraid of being single. I wanted him back because I had lost the person who made me feel safe, cherished, and connected in a way no one else ever had. And for the first time, I understood that intimacy isn't just sex, isn't just affection. It's trust, respect, emotional safety. And I had shattered that with one stupid, careless comment. I lay there crying for hours, thinking about all the moments I had taken for granted. The soft brush of his fingers, the way he'd make me coffee just the way I liked it, the late night whispers when neither of us could sleep. All gone, and I had no idea how to get them back. The worst part, even after all my apologies, all my efforts, Mason remained distant but calm, polite but unyielding. He didn't lash out, he didn't yell, he didn't even leave. He just existed as this firm, immovable wall between us. And I had to confront the fact that maybe, just maybe, I had pushed him too far. I kept replaying that moment in the debate with my friends, the words that triggered all this. You're only with me because of intimacy. I wanted to crawl under the bed and hide from myself. How could I have been so stupid, so careless? I loved him, but in one instant I destroyed the foundation of our relationship, and now, no matter how many flowers I left or apologies I offered, it wasn't enough. That night, staring at the ceiling, I whispered to the empty room, Mason, I see it now. I get it. I understand what I lost. I just want you back. But deep down, I knew seeing it wasn't the same as fixing it. And even as I clung to hope, I felt a slow, heartbreaking realization settle in. Mason might never be the same with me again. He might never forgive, never trust, never let me in the way he used to. And for the first time, I truly understood the depth of the consequences of my impulsiveness. I was desperate, lonely, and scared. I wanted to believe in happy endings, in love conquering all, in apologies, fixing mistakes. But Mason was teaching me a painful lesson. Love isn't enough. Trust isn't something you can demand back. And sometimes, no matter how much you want it, you just can't fix what you broke. I don't even know how to start this, Reddit, because honestly, my brain is mush. My chest feels like it's being ripped out and I'm still shaking. But I have to write it down, because if I don't, I might just completely lose it. So, here's the situation. Mason, my Mason, the guy I've loved for nearly a year. The guy who used to be my best friend, my confidant, my safe space, the guy who now treats me like I'm invisible, like I'm a stranger sharing his apartment. The past few weeks, hell, the past few months, have been a living nightmare. I've tried everything. Flowers, letters, cute texts, heartfelt apologies, tearful confessions, nothing. Mason remains firm, distant, polite, but utterly unreachable. And then I had an idea. A desperate, maybe stupid idea, but an idea nonetheless. I thought, maybe if we had an honest conversation in front of someone who meant something to him, someone whose voice mattered, like his parents, he would finally open up. Maybe seeing them would remind him of who we were, of what we could be, and break down the wall I had spent months trying and failing to chip through. So I called his parents. I won't lie, my heart was pounding so hard I thought they'd hear it over the phone. I tried to explain myself carefully, almost pleadingly. I just want to have an honest conversation. I know Mason is hurt. I know I messed up. Please, Can you come over just to help us talk? They agreed, and I was simultaneously terrified and hopeful. The day they arrived, Mason was unusually quiet. He didn't look at me. He barely acknowledged their presence beyond polite hellos. My stomach was twisted in knots, my hands clammy, and every instinct I had screamed at me, this might backfire horribly. I took a deep breath, trying to steady myself. Mason, I just want to say everything I've been feeling, everything I've been doing to try to fix this. Please, just hear me out. He nodded stiffly, jaw tight, and I could see it. The wall higher than ever. I started from the beginning, recounting that night, that stupid argument, the words that had destroyed everything. You're only with me because of intimacy. I said it again, aloud, even though it hurt to hear myself say it. I was wrong. I was impulsive. I was selfish. I see that now. And I am so sorry for hurting you, for breaking your trust, for everything. His parents exchanged glances, their expressions grave but patient. I could see their concern for their son, but also their willingness to let him speak, to protect his voice in this conversation. I tried to explain the small gestures, the notes, the apologies, the desperate attempts to reconnect. I tried to show him that I understood what intimacy really meant. Not just sex, not just closeness, but trust, emotional safety, and vulnerability. That I had broken that trust and that I would spend every day trying to make it right if only he would let me. Mason listened. He didn't interrupt. He didn't roll his eyes or snap at me. He just listened, stone-faced, still distant. And then he spoke. Zara. His voice was quiet, broken, but firm. I've been listening, and I know you're sorry. I know you've tried, but it's not enough. Not anymore. You broke my trust, completely, and I don't want to be with you anymore. The words hit me like a physical blow. My chest constricted, my vision blurred. I opened my mouth, trying to protest, to explain, to say that I could change, that I could fix it, that I could anything. But his parents gently, but firmly, shook their heads. He continued, voice shaking slightly, eyes glossy but resolute. I'm leaving by the end of the month. I can't stay in a relationship where my heart doesn't feel safe. You broke it, Zara. And nothing you do now will change that. I couldn't breathe. My knees buckled. I sat down on the floor, hugging myself like a child, tears streaming down my face. The parents, mine included, tried to console me, but their words only echoed the truth I was trying so desperately to deny. I caused this. I destroyed it. I ruined him and us with a single careless sentence. I felt the room spinning, my chest tight, my heart cracking into pieces. Mason's calm, firm demeanor, even in heartbreak, was almost unbearable. I wanted to yell, to scream, to beg him to stay, but I couldn't. The words stuck in my throat, choked off by the reality I had tried for weeks to avoid. My parents, holding me gently, whispered that I needed to face my mistakes, that this wasn't just Mason's choice, it was the consequence of my impulsive, careless words, that this heartbreak, as unbearable as it was a result of my own actions. I nodded mutely, knowing they were right, hating myself in every possible way. When everyone left, I collapsed on my bed, phone in hand, my tears soaking the pillow, my mind spinning. I didn't know what to do. How could I fix this? How could I undo the damage? I couldn't. I knew it, and that knowledge was worse than the pain itself. So here I am, Reddit, crying on my bed, shaking, broken, and desperate. I've tried everything. Every apology, every gesture, every explanation, and nothing. Mason is leaving, emotionally and physically, and I have to face the consequences of my own words. I don't even know what I want from you. People I don't know. Advice? Comfort? Words that can somehow magically undo months of heartbreak and mistakes. I can't stop thinking about him. About what I've lost. About the man I loved who now sees me as someone who shattered the very thing he held most precious. His trust. I feel like I'm drowning in guilt and grief, and I don't even know how to start breathing again. I've begged, I've pleaded, I've tried to prove myself, and yet nothing. He is gone. And I have to live with that. So please, Reddit, tell me, has anyone else been here? Does anyone know how to live with this kind of heartbreak? How to face the consequences of breaking someone's trust so completely? Because right now, I don't even know if I can. And I don't know if Mason will ever forgive me or if he even should. I miss him. I miss us. And I don't know what to do. All right, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the story. We have so many more amazing stories coming your way. So make sure you hit that subscribe button. Our goal is to reach 100K subscribers by the end of this year, and we'd love for you to be part of this journey. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next story.